Greetings, fellow traders. Bob here. It's time for the Lunchtime Market Update for Monday, September the 28th, 2020. I hope everybody's having a great trading day today. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, so please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Good. All right, let's check and see where we are with the market here today. So SPX is just plowing its way up 47 points. A lot of that is from the overnight gap. Monthly chart put in a lower shadow right here. Let's see if we can get over 50% of the range and get rid of this dark cloud cover and see where we end up there. So nice follow through from the hammer on last week's candle, right? So a little bit of a gap up right here, 24-point range. So we're seeing a lot of chop. A lot of this came from the gap here today, which we'll take a look at when we look at the ES. One of the big levels that we were talking about, the daily chart, right? So big deal right here, right? So we're over the channel, right? The corrective channel right here. Zigzag move down, impulsive move down, ABC down, another impulsive move down, and now we're working our way up. But what did we say yesterday? Well, let's see a strong close over the 50-day in the cloud. All right, left an open gap. It is what it is, but let's see how it closes today. If we can continue to work our way up here, right, we're going to assume that we're starting a fresh impulsive wave up, and then we'll look to see what kind of retrace we get off of that move. Ideally a 618 to get the bears really, really excited, and then we'll be like, nope, just kidding, and then it works its way back up, right? So we'll see how it goes from there. Stay with the SPY. Volume today, a little bit down, so it kind of is what it is. A little bit choppy day here, still below its 50-day moving average. Let's take a look at the intraday price action on the S&P futures. Now, this is really kind of a key deal, right? So one of the things we talked about this morning on the pre-market video, right, is look what they did last night, right? They really took a lot of the meat off the bone this morning. And so one of the things that we were focusing on here today is the potential for chop, and that's exactly what we have. So if you go back to Friday, right, even pre-market on Friday, this looks like a wave 1, 2. 3, 4 with kind of a triangle type move right here, wave 5, and this could be the wave 5 up here. And what we were expecting is some chop, in other words, an ABC corrective pattern. And right now we are triangulating here intraday. So very, very choppy stuff, and between our signal zones right now. So we'll wait to see if they try to do a breakout later. Maybe this is the ABC down, and then we start to work our way back up again, or how we move through the rest of the day. But when we see a big move like this, when we have we gap up 50 points pre-market or whatever the case is, this is where we really need to focus on individual names, right? I haven't even messed with SPY today or the S&P futures, right? I mean, you can catch some scalpy type moves in there, but we focus on other stuff in the group here this morning, right? So let's say with the MES here today, let's just kind of zoom in and get some geometric levels up here. So again, this is kind of, the fresh geo level right here. Kind of holding these levels here. I mean, and then we got our triangle action right now. So let's see how that holds going into the rest of the day here today. Let's say with the Qs. So the Qs are actually great, right? So they were flushing down pretty nicely pre-market, and this got us into some short opportunities here today. And I'll show you those in a little bit here. IWM. Actually, some relative strength here thanks to the banks. The banks have been really strong today, and there's been a little bit of a rally off of the cruise lines and the airlines today too. So we have that going on. Okay, so let's take a look at Apple. So we shorted Apple at the open today. We pointed this out on the live stream this morning. Again, very, very interesting stuff here, right? So Apple, we like this because it was getting really, really extended, and that we were actually pretty bullish on this morning. Like, hey, maybe it's a bull flag. And when it couldn't break out this morning, we instantly switched, right? Ideas, right? We could be working on a big bear flag right here. We actually switched ideas because we got to go with what's going on, right? So we see an impulsive move down, so all we do is we catch our retraces off of this and get some nice moves. We actually had a 382 retrace right here for a great short opportunity at the open today. Tesla, again, we did a big profile on this one last night. It got a great gap up here today, and it's triangulating here this morning. Well, look what it's doing. It's having trouble getting through the this congestion level right here from before battery day, right? So it's really got to get above the scene of the breakdown. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see if it gets moving and give us any clues here if it wants to try to do that. But again, nice gap up today if anybody did swing that on Friday's general strength. So good stuff there. Good job on that one. So good stuff. Another one that we looked at shorting this morning too, AMD. Why? Well, because, we're following price, right? So price was working its way down nice and fast this morning, right, pre-market, and then it gave us an impulsive move, 382 retrace, and gave a nice short opportunity there. And then it kind of came back and then worked its way back down again, using some key levels that we use in our group. Relative strength this morning, we talked about it this morning, pre-market. Space, right? So it was actually kind of weird this morning. We tried to trade it at the open and we couldn't because the options weren't even available this morning. It was really, really weird. And there was finally a breakout move right here once we got out of the pre-market levels and gave a nice move up here this morning. So that was a great move on SPCE. And then finally, JP Morgan. Okay, so the banks had relative strength this morning, so why not stick with the strong ones, right? So Bank of America was strong this morning. JP Morgan was strong this morning, so this gave us a nice breakout right here. Love the inside 5 up, and we're just kind of consolidating right here. Let's see if this turns into a little bit of a flag type pennant right here, if it can work its way back up to our next pivot level above. And so good stuff there. Those are the main ones we were looking at in the group today, but let's take a look at some chart requests out there. Really appreciate you guys sending those in. So Penn, pretty interesting here. Some members actually bought the dip on this one this morning. It's looking pretty good. A lot of pivot levels right here, so a little bit of caution on that one. Daily chart is turning into a nice hammer here on the daily. So it may try to work its way up to that 75 level, and we'll see where we go from there. Snap, looking really interesting. I love the gap up here this morning. It's holding. Let's see if that turns into a potential swing. There was some dark pool activity on it today. I really just wanted to get above all this stuff right here to really kind of get going, right? So, but let's see, again, decent relative strength on Snap today. DKNG, this is another one too that we've been tracking. Nice bull flag breakout this morning. Members pointed that out in the group today. Great 15-word breakout through the pre-market levels for a nice move on DKNG. I think we talked about it on the pre-market prep this morning, but either way, great breakout right there is one. If anything, we put it in our morning update email memo that we put out called the Bubble Report. So anyway, cool stuff right there. So we broke out of there, and a nice move on DKNG. Let's keep an eye on the volume today to see if it wants to get any follow through going into tomorrow. Another one, Netflix. Okay, so Netflix pretty interesting, right? So this actually has some relative weakness here today. It gapped up today, but it rejected the cloud, rejected the 50-day, and kind of came back into Friday's range, right? And it's generally just been pretty weak here today. It's holding the ADMA down. I mean, you can kind of look at each leg, right? Has given some nice Fibonacci retraces right here. You got a nice 382 off of this level right here from the 60 anchor level, and then continue to work its way back down on Netflix. A couple other ones, MUSA. So this is interesting. Not one that I trade, but it is pretty interesting right here. I do like Murphy's again. Oil is pretty interesting, right? So keep an eye on this one. Big upper shadow off the ADMA. See if they continues to work its way down out of the cloud right there. Definitely showing some relative weakness on that one. Just be careful with it with options. A little bit tricky on that one. HBQ, another interesting one. Again, nice gap up here this morning. Big upper shadows out the prior upper shadow right here, but see if it holds the ADMA and see if that can continue to work its way there. GHMI. Not sure what that GMHI. Maybe I wrote it down wrong. GMHI. Let's go with that one. Let's try that there. And GMHI. And see how that's holding right there. Nice gap up off the inside day. Again, rejected by the ADMA. So just a little bit of caution of that one. That's also an obscure name, so not one I would really trade with options. Boeing. Let's take a look at this one here today. So again, relative strength on Friday with the squeeze, and then getting a little more follow through today. Again, it's a little bit tricky here this morning. It gave a big bounce at the open after a big upper shadow, right? So it's just kind of slow grinding its way up today. It's tough to trade today. Really kind of declining volume too. But let's see if we get some follow through. It's basically come all the way back into the triangle. We're back there again. So anyway, so it did give some fun moves down, and now it's been giving some fun moves up. So we'll see how that continues to go. And finally, let's take a look at Roku. Now, Roku is one that we were looking at for some relative strength this morning. It just didn't get any follow through. So we avoid that, right? Especially when we see big upper shadows, right? So we wait for those. And then we're just kind of consolidating right here. See how it holds the 15-hour below. There's a little bit of a closing gap below right here. Actually, it was filled, but there's a little bit of distance right here. Actually, so just kind of see how it holds. We have a double inside 15 at the 15 or below. So if it wants to get strong, maybe it'll get some sideways action and then try to work its way back up. It might kind of try to retest that 185 level. But anyway, a little bit tricky right here. Was hoping for a big green candle on it today, but really just not getting that. But it is holding the ADMA, so we got that going on, and a higher high, higher low. So you got that too. Anyway, good stuff, guys. I really hope everybody has a great rest of your trading day today. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you